food processing. I'm Fatin. Nursyafiqah will explain to you in detail. What is it all about? Did you know the protection of food not provided at full meaning? Packaging processes that used in industry are not enough, and millions of people suffer from food poisoning. After many events to include that microbiological hazard, mycotoxin, food additive, biotoxin, and chemical contaminant make nutrients harmful to human health. Food additives have been around for many years, and its sole purpose has been extend to longevity of the food before we could remember. Additives to preserve food have been around for centuries long before technologies. Yes, the goal are to preserve the food without having to constantly hunt for food on a daily basis before it began to spoil. Back then, there was the sun used for drying, using of ice for freezing, vinegar, salt, sugar, and the combining of these in several techniques. Salt was used to prevent food spoilage by removing water from the meat. For example, removing the water prevents any microbial organism from going onto the food. If a microbe tries to grow onto the meat, the high concentration of the salt can kill the microbial organism by having the water removed from the system. The same effect can happen with the high concentration of sugar when drying the meat. All these methods are still used till today, but some adjustments have been made. Additives are now usually used to add flavor to the food, additional nutrients, and improve the longevity. Here is the example of the additive used in a product. We can check the ingredient for sure at the packaging back of the product. On the fact that we want the food to taste better, look better, and to have additional nutrients that normal food doesn't have. Nowadays, due to the change in process of production of food processing, consumption, and distribution, consumers no longer sure about the safety of the food. Therefore, food having the examined with more care. Now, the technology can be expressed under transport and control of bioactive substances and nutraceutical release, food processing and development of functional product, detection of food safety increasing, and positive product quality and shelf life. Before that, what is nanotechnology in food?
The term nanotechnology is used to describe engineered matter that's generally less than 100 nanometers in size. In other words, 1,000th of the thickness of a sheet of newspaper. Nanoparticles already naturally exist, for example, proteins in milk or ash in the air. But building nanoparticles into food or its packaging can change its nutritional value, lifespan or appearance. Titanium dioxide is the most commonly used nanoparticle in food as a whitener in powdered sugar, coconut and yogurt, also in sunscreens.
So, how does nanotechnology work in food processing? A lot of additives nowadays are used in microbial properties. They work in two ways. First, the additive is to be absorbed by the microbe and to kill the organism or to slow it down. The other way is to maintain the surrounding of the food so that the microbe cannot grow onto the food, which in terms of preventing the oxidation. Oxidation is prevented when the additive binds to the oxygen. It's not allowing for any free-roaming oxygen to by the microbial organism. Now, some nanoparticles are created naturally within the food bite. Others are synthesized to control the size and shape of the material. The size and shape of the material usually dictates the reaction within the food. Nevertheless, at the moment, nanoparticles have already implanted into our food for preservation. But there are other nanomaterials that are being studied for the same properties. Nanoparticles can help by adding smaller dosage for preservation and materials, yet still hold the same properties as other materials.
At the moment, nanoparticles have already been implemented into our food for preservation, but there are other nanomaterials that are being studied for the same properties.
This will give beneficial in many ways. It also can help with the amount of sugar intake within our food. As logical belief, the smaller the particles, the faster it may be able to reach out the taste bud to satisfy what we are looking for. Lastly, it can also increase the amount of the organic nutrient added within the meal with a smaller size due to the absorption of the nutrient in the nanoparticles into our system. Moving on to the food packing process.
How will nanotechnology keep your food safe? In 2010, 133 billion pounds of food wasn't eaten in the United States. It was thrown away. That's like roughly 4 million dumpsters full of Red Delicious apples going to waste. One way to help reduce food waste is better packaging, smarter packaging. Nanotechnology-enabled plastics create stronger barriers against oxygen and water, slowing down spoilage. By adding antimicrobial nanoparticles or nanostructured surfaces, food containers or contact surfaces like cutting boards can kill germs that may be present. Food preservation doesn't just mean keeping stuff out. Nanoclays added to bottles can help keep carbon dioxide in and your drink bubbly. Nanosensors can tell you if your food is safe to eat. Some can even indicate when your fruit is at the perfect ripeness.
Therefore, we should implementing bio-nanocomposite to the food sector is the best way for supplying better conditions where beneficial for environment and food. Second is providing proper protection using zinc instead of plastic would be microbiological resistant, inert and has more strength. Also, the use of packaging with carbon nanotube to control the oxidation of food and helps to prevent tasteless and unwanted formation.
Even Kraft Foods' interest in a smart blob that can be made to taste like anything using nanotechnology have all been part of the highly speculative future of nano foods.
That's all from me. Thank you.